Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this second day of Feb. Can you believe it? Already 1 month down into the year. Today we'll be talking about a really exciting new or relatively new partner of Icon's called Elevate Life. And I'm going to briefly tell you a bit about the company and some of the cool stuff that they're doing. But more importantly, I want to show you what they're doing, because I believe talk is cheap in this industry. People sell very grand ideas of changing the world, but seldom do they work in practice. And I think it's been a long time since a new insurance provider has done something as exciting as Elevate has. So I'm going to jump right into a very short presentation, and then I'm going to take you through a live demo showcasing the Elevate solution and show you how it can add value to your businesses and your clients. So Elevate's a relatively new player in the insurance space. They've been around for 2 or 3 years. And what they've really tried to solve is the actual process that advisors have to use to get clients covered. South Africa is an incredibly innovative space, especially in the insurance industry, financial services industry as a whole. I think we lead the pack globally in terms of innovation. But for so many years in South Africa, the focus has been on product. And we do have the most sophisticated financial services products in the world. Elevate has taken a slightly different approach to this, and they've actually focused on completely refining and disrupting the process that advisors and clients have to follow to take out or buy insurance cover. I think it's an incredibly antiquated, old school way that we've been doing business, because, I mean, look at the technology around us. There are AI bots like ChatGPT that are currently right at this minute, disrupting all industries. There is big data. There are massive data profiles for each one of us in this room today. And that data probably, understands us better than we understand ourselves, which is quite scary. What Elevate has really set out to do is leverage this technology to benefit the end customer. So Elevate is a new generation tech-enabled insurer that leverages customer data to provide better products, provide a better experience, but ultimately give value back to customers and incentivize them to live long, healthy, prosperous, and financially secure lives. And I'm going to show you exactly how they do that. Just to begin with, I want to run you through the 3 pillars of Elevate's value proposition. So as I've alluded to already, it's a smart life insurance company, smart meaning completely tech-enabled. No paper, it's all online, everything in one place. And this has completely optimized the intermediary and customer experience. And I'm going to show you exactly what that experience feels like from start to finish. Elevate has developed an underwriting engine that is able to offer fully underwritten and comprehensive cover for your clients in as little as 15 minutes. Very often without the need for invasive medical tests, doctor's appointments, and all of those things that really slow down the process. Again, leveraging data to its fullest to reduce turnaround times, but also make better underwriting decisions. They've codified the underwriting journey. Okay, so their underwriting engine can offer decisions on 80% to 90% of all cases. And then the complex cases are then are dealt with by a human underwriter who can apply their discretion. They can interpret things, only the way a human can, and again, offer much better underwriting decisions because they aren't having to deal with the 80% of standard cases. They can actually
Jono?
focus their time and effort on the complex cases that really matter. And then lastly, they offer a complimentary rewards program. And I don't like to use the word rewards because very often when people hear the word rewards, I can see the shutters come down and they switch off. I think the reward systems for a lot of companies in South Africa have prejudiced a lot of clients. So what Elevate does is they have an opt-in rewards program that's completely free. You don't need to participate in it, but if you do participate, you can only benefit. So we say it's used as a carrot, it's never used as a stick. And I'll again touch on quite lightly how that rewards program works.
Jono? Can you hear me?
I think it's very important before we get into the nitty-gritty to just explain who the Elevate partners are. Any new insurance company is going to be met with skepticism and some restraint because it's quite a big decision to make to place your life insurance, your income protection, your critical illness, whatever it is, with a company. You want peace of mind, you want certainty, you want longevity. And despite the fact that Elevate is new, they have covered those bases with some very, very well-known household names to provide that peace of mind. So I'm going to start off with Centric. Some of you might be aware with the cell captive model. Basically, a cell captive model is a life license to rent. Okay, the cell takes care of the capital adequacy, they take care of the legislation, and they meet all of the rigorous requirements that the FSCA has set out for life insurance companies. So Elevate in itself isn't a life license holder yet. It's an extremely time-consuming, arduous, and expensive process to become a life license holder. But they piggyback on Centric's life license. And Centric might not be a household name to most, but Centric is a wholly owned subsidiary of Sanlam. So all of the risk that Elevate writes essentially sits on Sanlam's balance sheet. Sanlam has provided all of the legal frameworks, the underwriting frameworks, and the claims frameworks. And if any of you have worked with Sanlam as much as we have, we can definitely tell you with confidence that those standards are extremely high. If Elevate ever were to close their doors, Centric would become the custodians of the policies that exist, which means Big Brother Sanlam would stand good for those. In terms of reinsurance partners, Hanover Re is the sole reinsurer. Okay, they're the third largest reinsurer in the world. A lot of the risk is also reinsured to Hanover. They also have rigorous due diligence requirements that Elevate has met. And then the partnership that we're probably most excited about is Allan Gray. So Allan Gray is a major shareholder. They got involved in seed funding round A. They hold a seat on the Elevate board. So they have input in terms of the day-to-day operations, the strategic direction of the business. And they're happy to put their names side by side with Elevate. It's Allan Gray's foot in the door for the insurance industry. And Allan Gray doesn't invest in companies very often. They generally build them from scratch. So it's a big feather in Elevate's cap that Allan Gray is involved. Insight is an unknown, or probably unknown to most of you. They are a group of independent medical aid actuaries. And some of the management team who run Elevate today were directors at Insight. And interestingly, the reason Insight is involved is because they manage risk pools without invasive medical underwriting. As you know, medical aids can't underwrite. They can use things like waiting periods, exclusions, and they had developed this rich IP in terms of how to manage risk pools effectively. And they wanted to see how they could apply that IP to other markets within the financial services space. Long-term insurance was an obvious opportunity, low-hanging fruit, because, as I said earlier, the underwriting process and the onboarding process for customers has just become so clunky and cumbersome. Why not try and apply this risk management methodology that is used in medical aid and apply it to things like life cover? So they're also one of the shareholders in Elevate. And then the two medical aid schemes you see at the bottom, BestMed and MedShield, these are integrated medical aid scheme platforms, two relatively small ones, but these integrations provide seamless transfer of information with clients who are members of those medical aid schemes. That optimizes the application process, it optimizes the claims journey, and then it also plays a role in the rewards. And I'll touch on that in a little bit as well. Elevate will in time integrate with all of the big medical aid schemes. And I'm sure anyone who's worked in the risk space, you've always said, especially when you're doing discovery business, why can't they just get all of the information from the discovery medical aid? They're a client. Why can't the underwriting just be waived? You can see this person is healthy. Even discovery hasn't managed to get that right. And Elevate is trying to do that very thing. But from an agnostic perspective, where they aren't the medical aid provider, they're just drawing the information from the various medical aid schemes to provide more accurate underwriting decisions. Obviously, the question comes in, why on earth would Discovery share information with a competitor? Well, there's been a lot of legal development in the space. Obviously, POPIA, ownership of your personal data, and legally, these medical aid schemes have to provide your medical aid scheme data upon request. There's been a lot of very interesting lawsuits that have happened in the recent past, all of which have filed in favor of the client. So we're going to see a lot of disruption in this space over the coming years, and the ability for us to leverage our data finally for our benefit. Not these big corporate organizations farming our data, selling it off to third parties for things like marketing and advertising. We can actually start to monetize our own personal data and use it for our own gain. So this is a really important slide. It's the first question your clients are going to ask you is, who is Elevate? Why should I trust them? This will give you or equip you with the ammunition you need to address those questions. I'm not going to show you what the broker portal looks like in this presentation because I'm going to take you through it, but everything with Elevate is digital. So the broker portal is all online. You can transact and do everything from there, as is the customer experience. Customers will get access to their own portal. Here they can manage and maintain their policies. They can make changes to their cover, and importantly, manage their rewards. So the rewards is broken down into 4 components. And again, this is based on you sharing your data. It's securely shared, through integrations and banking grade encryption and security. But the data is used for your personal gain. Again, it's never shared with any other third party. So you can share your wearable data, you can share your healthcare data, you can share your financial information and your credit score data. And based on you showing Elevate that you are doing the basic things to reduce your mortality risk, i.e. your chance of dying, Elevate can quantify that in the form of a premium. So they can say, Jono is exercising every single day. He has diabetes, but he's collecting his chronic medication and he's managing it well. From a financial standpoint, he's saving for retirement. He's not overly indebted. And if anything were to happen to him, he would have the resources and the means to look after himself. And then obviously from a credit perspective, this is looking at your lapse risk. And how long is your policy really going to stay with Elevate? So based on doing the right things and achieving certain goals, clients can earn up to 30% back on their premiums on a monthly basis. So it's not a 5-year or a 10-year or a 15-year incentive. it's an immediate incentive for customers. And the important thing again is that if you don't engage in the rewards, you pay the premium that you signed up for. And the policy itself behaves exactly as you expected it to. Your premiums aren't going to increase more aggressively. Your cover isn't going to increase slower. Your advice isn't going to be jeopardized in any way. So I like to say it's there, use it, don't use it. If you're not a techie and you're not interested, that's fine. And the premiums right out of the box are extremely competitive as they are. So you don't need to rely on the rewards to make this solution make sense. The proof is in the pudding. So you can trust me or not, but we would love to show you. And we'll get in touch with you at the end of the session for comparative quotes and things like that. So you can really test the waters and see if what I'm saying to you is true. So please challenge me on that. And I didn't say at the beginning of the session, questions are welcome, please. I don't want this to be a monologue. Now that Sam doesn't have any audio, I'm just going to be talking to a screen. So
Can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you, Sam. Q&A, please pop your questions in there, and I'll be sure to monitor it as we go. Okay, and then this just shows you the cycle of the rewards. So it's a monthly cycle, 30% cash back every month for reducing your risk, your chance of claiming, doing the things that you should be doing to not die. And clients will get an additional 5% discount on their premiums for being vaccinated. So for the first 5 years of the plan, you'll get a 5% monthly cashback. Elevate does not care if you're vaccinated or not at underwriting stage. Your rewards are then deposited into your Elevate wallet. So you can see there's a tiny screenshot of what that looks like. And clients can log in as and when they please and withdraw cash from their Elevate piggy bank. That's then paid into the premium paying account within 48 hours. So clients can start to build up a little rainy day fund here, a little holiday fund, however you want to position it. But I think the important thing, especially for Icon, is clients cannot retire. They can't save enough money. They need risk, okay, just as much as they need investments, but finding that balance is really difficult. You look at the retirement reality stat from 10X, 8% of South Africans think they have a plan or do have a plan for retirement, but only 1% of South Africans believe that they're actually on track to achieving that plan, or they're on track with that plan. Elevate is a really good way for clients to save that little bit more each and every month, and they can build this up until they get a 10 or a 15,000 Rand sum of cash in their wallet, and then they can do an ad hoc investment into their RA or their unit trust or their tax-free savings. So this really kind of brings risk and investments together. We believe it's how we are encouraging our advisors to use the rewards program. So that's Elevate in a nutshell in terms of who the company is, what their philosophy is, a bit about their value proposition. But I think that we've just scratched the surface. Andre said that he can hear you, Sam. So, speak for me.
Speaking.
Okay, it's working for me. And the timing is perfect because Sam's going to be my guinea pig, my guinea pig today. And we're going to do a bit of a role play. And we're going to go through a full application with Elevate. Parts that might be boring, so bear with us. We'll be completing an application as you would, very similar to what you would know, but all online. And hopefully, by the end of the process, we will have a policy in force.
So, Jono, I tried to ask you earlier, when it comes to a medical referral where there is an immediate underwriting decision that takes place, how long typically would it take the underwriters at Elevate to make a decision?
So Sam, I think that depends on the case. Elevate isn't a cheap and nasty, so they're not going to take on substandard risk. I think that is an important thing to position up front. Yes, you can get immediate underwriting decisions. Yes, most of the time you don't need to go for things like a cotinine test or an SMR or an ECG, even for large cover amounts. They rely solely on client disclosure. Okay, so clients must disclose all of their health risks. If they do have, if they do have a high risk profile with several comorbidities, the underwriting engine won't be able to make that decision. It's going to go to a human underwriter to apply their discretion to understand the context of the case. But Elevate always aims to have a decision in some form or another within a week, oftentimes within 48 hours. For extremely complex cases, there'll be things like PMAs that will be called from treating doctors. In cases like that, you're at the mercy of the doctor. But what's really awesome with Elevate is because the underwriters aren't dealing with each and every single case. That 18-year-old who's taking out 15,000 Rand income protection, why does a human need to deal with that? That is something that a computer can deal with, or an underwriting engine or algorithm. But for that client who's 60, who's taking out 20 million Rand life cover and some severe illness and has health risks, that's something that an experienced, trained underwriter should be dealing with. And because of that, they're dealing with only 10 or 20% of the cases instead of dealing with all of the cases. That improves the turnaround times. It improves the quality of the decision, and makes everyone's lives so much easier.
Cool. And what I've also seen is they give a really detailed explanation on why the cover is either being declined or deferred, or it's really detailed. There's a lot of information in there. So you actually have something to really go back to your clients and discuss it with them.
Exactly. Okay, so this is the advisor portal. Nothing out of the ordinary. So you can pull your policy schedules here, all of your policy documents. You can start a claim for your client right from the portal. No paper. They can WhatsApp you the information, what's happened, what their diagnosis is. Boom, you push a few buttons, the process has begun. And then really importantly, quoting and getting your clients covered. So I've created a little profile here for Miss Tunner, and we are going to start the application process. Okay, so Sam, you're my client. We need to have your ID number and the ID numbers of your dependents. Any existing cover amounts, if you have existing cover for financial underwriting purposes. We want to make sure you aren't over-insuring yourself. And then your gross and net income. Okay, I think it just needed to refresh. Also, Murphy's Law, this is an incredibly risky thing doing to a large group of people in a webinar. Tech always fails you at the worst possible times, but this is in the demo environment. The demo environment can be unstable at times.
I love the ID number there, Jono, making me younger. I'll take it.
Yeah, so I've pre-populated some of the boring information, email address, cell phone number, all of that stuff. And you can see the process laid out in front of you. 7 simple steps. It's all of the same kind of information you would be gathering with a normal or traditional underwriter, whether it's on paper or online. Nothing out of the ordinary here. So I'm just going to skip through the personal information. And what's really nice about this process is you can do it with a client on the phone. You can do it sitting across from them with an iPad or a laptop. You can do it like Sam and I are doing as well. Your progress is saved each step of the way. So if load shedding were to hit and your internet connection cuts out, you can pick up right from where you've left off as soon as you're able to reestablish your connection. Okay, this is just, again, more personal information. So things like smoker status, income, occupation, education. So again, nothing out of the ordinary here. So I'm just going to go to the next step. You're going to get little disclaimers along the way. And these seem far more, you're far more aware of them because they're in the form of pop-ups. But all of these disclosures are there on every single application form you've ever submitted. So the insurer doesn't give financial advice. All right, that's the advisor's responsibility. And then a few more disclaimers. So Sam, these questions can only be answered by you.
Yes,
so I'm going to say
yes,
okay to that.
yes.
Elevate is an authorized financial service provider.
Yes.
They're
I'm a
underwritten
speed
by
reader.
Century.
I'm a speed reader. I've already read all of it.
And then
It's all
obviously
okay.
there's a relationship. Centric is the life license holder, not Elevate. Okay, your information must be complete and accurate.
Mhm.
Okay, poppies, they might share information with third parties like the LOA. They obviously can call for information from the LOA and doctors and things like that. Again, nothing out of the ordinary here. This is the same with any insurance provider.
And to be clear, by saying no to any of those, we don't get to continue.
Exactly.
Correct?
Okay, so the next thing is health consent. So Sam, I just need to know what medical aid you're on.
Discovery.
Because Discovery, and is it a medical aid or a hospital plan?
It is a proper medical aid. Reg, my advisor's on the call today. Hey, Reg. Proper,
Ooh,
full on.
fancy. Okay, the reason for this is obviously if it's with a partnered or integrated medical aid scheme, they're going to ping that medical aid scheme and they're going to populate as many of the medical questions as possible. This functionality is only going to improve as they get more and more insurers integrated. And that, from a non-disclosure perspective, really protects the advisor and the client. Okay, major health conditions, Sam. So before we get into the major health questions or conditions, have you had any major health conditions, events that have happened to you in your life?
So I broke my back 5 years ago in a mountain biking accident. So I'm not sure if that would fall here somewhere. And then asthma.
Okay. Your back,
Nothing.
has it caused significant issues for you? Do you experience pain? Have you missed lots of work in the last year because of that? Because that could be a problem.
No.
Okay.
Lucky
Okay.
to have
Well, that's
speedy
good that you've
recovery.
recovered. Backs can be tricky. And then your asthma, is it chronic, or do you just have an asthma pump and you use
So
it
it's
every
more
now
for
and then?
exercising.
Okay.
Just sort of when I'm exercising and a bit out of breath, but
Okay,
nothing
perfect.
hectic. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So nothing serious, no cancer, no organ failure, hopefully,
Yep.
no strokes, no heart conditions. Okay. Okay, in the last 10 years, have you been prescribed any medication or received treatment for more than 4 weeks? Excludes contraception, cholesterol, or blood pressure medication?
No.
Okay. And then do you have any health concerns for which you're planning to see a doctor in the next 6 weeks? Future
Hopefully
surgery,
not.
medical tests? Okay.
No.
And then have you visited a health professional in the last 4 months for a new health concern? So something that's relatively new and unknown still.
No.
Okay, are you HIV positive?
No.
Not. Okay. And then was your HIV test done more than 2 years ago, the last one that you had done?
Yes, because I did some updates on policy before. Yeah.
So it was more than 2 years ago, or less
Yeah.
than?
Less than. Less than.
Less than. Okay. Okay, that's all pretty simple. Lifestyle. So this is always a tricky one. How many alcoholic beverages do you consume?
Less than 5 drinks.
Hey. Have you ever received treatment for a drug or alcohol problem?
Nope.
Okay. Do you know your weight?
I do not weigh myself. No.
Okay. Do you know your height?
161. Yeah.
Okay. 1.61 meters. Okay, and on average, how many minutes do you exercise per week?
Minutes.
Minutes, yeah.
I can say how many times a week, like 5 times a
Okay.
week. Which,
And
so
roughly
let's say
half an hour.
let's average it out to 30 minutes. So 3, 6,
So
9, 12.
150 minutes.
Yeah, let's say that.
We aren't good at math.
No.
Okay, and because you didn't know your weight, it's just asking your blouse or shirt size.
Okay. Let's see what the options are.
Extra
Uh,
small, small, medium, large, extra large.
Small.
Sorry?
Small.
Small. And your trouser or skirt size.
That's a weird way of putting it. Like a 32. So just say medium then.
Medium. Okay, an average intensity of your workout. Is it light? Is it moderate? Is it vigorous? Are you
Let's go
walking? Are
for
you running?
moderate.
Are you moderate? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you noticed any weight loss in the past year for which you've seen or are planning to see a doctor?
No.
Nope.
Only weight loss for the wedding, but that's like tiny bit.
Okay. Have you required treatment for stress,
Nope.
heart condition?
No.
Have you ever had a stroke?
No. No cancer.
Okay. Have
No
you ever had
paralysis.
cancer?
No.
Okay. Have you seen a doctor more than once for the same condition or symptom in the last 5 years?
I mean, I have
So-
asthma, but I haven't. Yeah, I haven't.
Okay. Well, let's just put asthma down.
Okay.
It would
Okay.
be we'd be clubbing seals if we just said no to everything on here. So, and then let's say
Oh yes, the broken back.
back fracture.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in the last 5 years, have you required prescribed medication or received treatment for more than 4 weeks? So
No.
let's just say yes, because asthma, you'd have a prescribed asthma pump, and then your back fracture, I'm sure that there was treatment. Did you undergo any chemotherapy treatments? I'm sure you had some painkillers or something like that.
Yeah, painkillers. Totally.
Okay, and then in the last 5 years, have you seen any specialist or been sent for investigations or tests?
Well, I guess that would be a yes then for the.
Yeah, so I think the back
Yeah.
fracture, asthma, probably, I mean, that probably be dealt with by your GP unless it's chronic.
Yeah, and COVID. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and in the last 10 years, have you been admitted to hospital for 2 or more nights in a row?
No.
No. And in the last year, have you taken more than 5 days of sick leave for the same medical condition?
I would imagine for the back, I would have.
In the last year?
Oh, in the last year. Apologies. Yeah, right. No, then it's a no.
And then do you have an appointment to see a medical professional in the next 6 weeks?
No.
Okay. Your HIV test, done at a lab, pharmacy, GP, blood donor
Laboratory.
test. Okay, so now because we've answered yes to some of those medical questions, we've given them some additional information. It's going to ask us reflexive questions. So this is essentially a respiratory questionnaire because of the asthma. And of course, it's going to ask us more details on the back fracture. What's nice is this is all gathered in one process. You're not completing an application form, submitting it, waiting 2 or 3 days, getting questionnaires, going back to the client. It's a seamless process. Okay, and then, so Sam, have you had any airway or lung-related symptoms in the last year?
What does that mean?
So if we hover over here, symptoms could be, but are not limited to, wet or dry coughing, difficulty breathing, wheezing, shortness of breath, coughing up blood, chest pain, intermittent stopping of breathing during sleep.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Have you been admitted to a hospital for more than 1 day for an airway or lung condition in the last year?
No.
No. Apart from a chest X-ray or lung function test, has any other special investigation of an airway or lung condition been planned or recommended?
No.
Okay, and have you seen a specialist for any airway or lung related conditions more than once this year or in the last 12 months?
No.
Has any future surgery to treat an airway or lung condition been planned?
No.
And have you been prescribed home oxygen treatment?
No.
And then apart from your asthma pump, do you take any other chronic medication for your asthma?
Just the asthma.
Okay. Do you experience symptoms for your asthma every day? I mean, that shortness of breath, it's
No.
no.
Whatever.
Okay, we're almost done with the medical questions. We're going to now just get some more information about your back accident. Oh, sorry, one more. How many attacks have you had in the last month?
Less than 2, definitely.
Okay, your neck or back problem, did it occur as a result of an injury or trauma? That would
Trauma.
be yes. It was a mountain
Yeah,
biking
mountain
accident.
biking. Yeah.
No spinal cord damage or paralysis. Nothing,
Nope.
nothing like that.
All good.
Okay, and then are you currently receiving treatment or are
No.
you fully recovered? Okay. Any symptoms in the last year for your back?
No.
And are you on regular medication for your back?
Nope.
Okay. Has there been more than one neck, back, or spine condition that's occurred, or has it occurred on more than one occasion in the last 5 years? Or was it just that single event?
Just that one time.
Have you been off work for more than 2 weeks in the last year because of it?
No.
Okay, and then have you been admitted to hospital for more than 1 day in the last year?
No. No.
Okay, have you seen a specialist on more than 2 occasions within the last year?
No.
Okay, and have you had surgery to treat the problem, or was it just
Just a fracture. Yeah.
physiotherapy and it's
Yeah.
kind of healed?
Yeah.
Any future surgery being planned?
No.
Okay, and do you have pain-free normal movement of your neck and back today?
Today, yes, thank you.
Great. Well, you're one of the lucky ones, I guess.
Oh, so lucky. Yeah.
Okay. Family history. Any parents, siblings had Alzheimer's, blindness, cancer, kidney disease, any of these illnesses listed here?
No.
Okay. All right. So at this point, we need to carefully review what's been disclosed. We cannot go back and fiddle with the disclosures once a decision has been given. So I'll save you the time because we are almost out of it. But once you've locked these questions in, there's no turning back. If you do need to change a disclosure because there was just an honest error made, maybe you didn't disclose something, you can always contact Icon. We can notify Elevate and we can update it on the back end because that's very important. Okay, we're on the home stretch. There's 3 more questions left to go. Financial, are you self-employed?
No.
What is your current planned retirement age?
55.
Nice. Okay, I'm just going to put, because I captured the income
Yes, thank you.
earlier. Otherwise, it's going to tell us that there's issues. Any previous applications for cover being declined or refused?
No.
Any issued with exclusions?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Have you been declared insolvent or undergone any debt counseling?
No.
Okay.
I think you might have put.
Just try that. Okay. Existing cover. Let's just say no to that one. So it will ask for a breakdown of existing cover like any normal app would for financial underwriting. Travel, do you intend on traveling outside South Africa in the next 12 months?
No.
Okay. And then lastly, recreation. Do you participate in any of these sports or activities?
Well, let's just say I don't mountain bike anymore, but let's go for I do underwater diving or scuba diving
cool.
or what you call it.
Great hobby.
Thank you.
I'm also a big fan. Again, more reflexive questions so that you don't have to go back with a diving questionnaire. So do you only do snorkeling or do you use oxygen?
I do use oxygen.
Okay. Are you a certified diver?
Yes.
Will you ever dive alone?
No, definitely not.
It's very risky.
Yeah.
Do you do wreck or cave diving?
No.
Okay. Does your diving involve any record attempts? Are you going for the Guinness Book?
No.
Okay. And then to what depths do you intend to dive? Less than 40 meters or more than 40 meters?
Less than 40 meters.
Okay. Easy. Okay. So everything's done. We're about to submit this application. Sam threw me a few curveballs there.
Oh, did I?
So I'm not 100% sure what the outcome is going to be here. But one of four things will happen now. Okay. Either first prize is the case issues, it's accepted at standard terms. Okay. The next best outcome would be an underwriting referral. So it gets referred to a human underwriter, like I spoke to you earlier. They'll reach out to the client. They will get context around anything that they need context around. And if there's any additional information that's needed from, say, a doctor, or there are tests that are needed, Elevate will arrange that. Okay, this happens about 15 to 20% of the time. So it's not a common outcome. Third, is it'll be accepted immediately with terms, loadings and exclusions. The other nice thing is if you do get one of those decisions and you don't agree with it, you can always refer it to a human underwriter. Elevate will always apply best of both to give the client the best possible outcome. Okay, so you can choose if you want to have further investigations done. And then the worst possible outcome is just an immediate decline. Okay, they'll say we cannot accept your cover at this point in time. Elevate will reach out to the client and yourself and give reasoning behind that. Again, you can discuss the decision with them. Maybe there's additional information that they need that you could provide. Maybe there's a deferral period, so you can apply again in 2 years based on certain conditions being met. So I'm going to continue and see what the decision is.
Holding hands.
Sam, you're on a classic smart plan, Reg says.
Yes, thank you, Reg. Thank you. Just upgrade.
Normally doesn't take this long.
It's because there's so much complicated.
Yeah, could be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure. Yay. So the cover was accepted at standard terms. I wasn't expecting that with your
Yay!
potentially coughing blood twice a month, but so I mean, I think this for me is pretty exciting. I was skeptical at the beginning of working with Elevate. We've walked this journey with them for 12 months. We've got, I counted today, 60 policies signed up in that time. Okay. And it works as advertised on the box. Sam, this fictitious client, has mild asthma. She broke her back in a mountain biking accident 5 years ago, but neither of those conditions are significant insurance risks because she's treated them. She hasn't, taken time off work. They're not chronic. And the combination of each of them, the back doesn't affect the respiratory system and vice versa. So Sam's able to take out comprehensive severe illness cover, income protection with a 1-month waiting period, and life cover. So just to show you what the premiums look like, 1.5 million rand severe illness, 30,000 rand of income, 3 million of life cover. This is an age-rated funding pattern. The premium comes in at 1,100 rand per month. Okay, if she's vaccinated, she'll get 55 rand back every single month into her wallet. And if she shares her data and hits her goals and shows to Elevate that she is not a huge risk, Elevate will share in that risk reduction by giving her up to 332 rand back every single month. So the next few steps, if you want to finalize this case, is you literally click on Finalize App. I won't take you through these last few steps because I know we're out of time, but you select your commencement date, you do your commission disclosure because legally that's a requirement. You nominate your beneficiaries and capture your banking details. You literally push a big activate button and the cover is in place. The policy documents are emailed to the client and it's done. You can then move on to the next client and you don't have to wait weeks or even months for that cover to be implemented.
And then, Jono, as a client, will I receive on how the rewards program works and how I get that started?
Yes. So when you start this process, the application journey, the client will actually receive a welcome email with their login credentials, with the link. They can then navigate to the portal. And again, in that email, it tells you everything that you need to know to share your data, activate your rewards. And from there, it's very intuitive. The tool has been designed so that anyone on their own accord could go to this company's page and actually, start engaging. Everyone on the call can go to elevate.co.za today and actually create a client account. You don't need to take out cover. You don't need to buy anything. You'll get a 3-month free trial where you can actually go and integrate your data. It'll set goals for you. You can engage with the rewards. Obviously, you're not going to get money back, but you can start to accumulate a percentage cash back before you even become a client. So from day one, you can know I'm on 20% and I'm going to get 20% of that first premium back. So I would encourage everyone to do that. I think, to get comfortable with the process, comfortable with the company, experience it for yourself. And then the invite, we are very keen to show you more, whether it's one-on-one, another session like this, more engagement around the product itself, because that's an important thing we didn't touch on, and then quotes. I think you'll get a really good feel for the company and the product by just comparing some quotes to maybe a few of the clients that you've been working on over the last week or two.
And then, Jono, I see Kim had a question, which is great because I was going to ask you the same thing. What about record of advice if we'd had marked that it was replacing cover?
Oh, the RAR.
The RAR, yeah.
So the cover will activate when you choose it to. So this little calendar, you can choose any day of the month. And Elevate will give you 14 days to provide that record of advice from when the cover is activated. So if we activate it on the 14th of Feb, within 14 days of that activation date, you need to have submitted that replacement advice record. Okay, that's kind of the replacement rule legally. They're quite lenient. A lot of companies won't underwrite or even issue the policy until that replacement advice record has been done. Elevate's more lenient. Obviously, Icon will assist in helping get those RARs completed as well.
Cool, thank you.
Cool. I'm not sure if there's any other questions from anyone. I will be touching base with everyone who's logged on today. Hopefully you can give some feedback. Hopefully we can have more discussions and engagements around Elevate, because I really honestly believe in what they're doing. So does everyone at Icon. And I think it can, really make your lives a lot easier in 2023.
Cool. Thank you, Jono.
Cool.
And thank you everyone for attending.
Yeah.